Hey, you! You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed because you're an untouchable success. To support us and gain access to great exclusive shows like our brand new Supernatural watch-along Himboos, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. You'll also get your lucky little mitts on hundreds of episodes of our other exclusive shows like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, Spiel Boys, and the complete series of Fox Mulder is a Maniac. We do movie nights, game streaming, regular mini-series and surprise shows, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want, within reason. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain by heading to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed. Probably don't need help with that word.
Fur urchin beside a rotary.
Fur
That's what it stands for.
urchin beside a Yep.
Right?
Fuzzy uvula beneath
But
a rhino.
nice. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ryman.
And we just watched FUBAR.
FUBAR.
Not that one. A different one.
It's the,
different
sequel to
FUBAR.
Flubber.
Yeah.
FUBAR.
I can't fucking babysit my fucking giant nut all day. You know, just fucking sit there and watch it and hope it doesn't fucking grow.
You could die. Do you understand? You could die.
Before we get started, big thank you to Steven.
Thank you.
Steven. Thank you,
Stephen.
Steven, for sending us this I'm going to say Canadian movie.
Yeah. It's
Without looking it up.
Another solid entry in the Canadian scumbag genre.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, this is 2002's FUBAR. This is a movie that you can only find like on YouTube and shit. I think it's rentable on like one site. But it's very indie. Very, very
Yeah,
indie.
I think the YouTube that we watched was their like official YouTube, wasn't it?
I think so. It's the director. So what makes this significant is this director, Michael Dowse, who, if you don't know that name, did Goon and Stuber and Coffee and Cream and the 8-Bit Christmas. He's a major filmmaker now who obviously, like, you know, his career kind of started with Goon, but FUBAR is, I believe, his first feature. He made a sequel later.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It was advertised in the column of the YouTube video.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, you could see it like right up at the top. As I was watching FUBAR, I was like, oh, there's a FUBAR too.
Yeah, and this is like a mockumentary.
Yeah.
Kind of a Trailer Park Boys vibe, also Canadian. And in fact, one of the actors in this was in Trailer Park Boys.
That checks out. I've never watched that, actually. I guess I need to. I guess I need to.
It's like a Reno 911. It has that same vibe. It's unfortunate that like multiple people involved in that have since come out as creeps. So it's like,
that's a shame.
It's a hard watch now, but it like I used to watch it all the time, and when I still had my innocence with that, and it was a very, it was like a cross between Reno 911 and It's Always Sunny, where it's like these are bad people that are very very funny, and like it was a fun show for sure, and it had like I don't know. It had good like character development and like fun little bits and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know if you're into that stuff and you haven't watched Trailer Park Boys and you can ignore certain knowledge of the actors, I guess check it out. But I don't know.
Oh, starry-eyed young Dave watching it.
Yeah,
oblivious.
This was
anyway.
Yeah, this is like the same era, right? Like,
this is very. This feels like an early 2000s comedy.
Yeah, for people who don't know, it's a mockumentary about two like headbangers, as they put it, who are like, again, very Trailer Park Boys, who are just kind of like two grimy dudes.
They're kind of Canadian Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, for sure. This movie. How'd you like this movie?
I liked it okay. Like I said, it's very much a comedy from 2002, so it's funny, but it's funny in a way that sort of got really played out over time. Like, this is right at the beginning of the mockumentary style, like Arrested Development and The Office and Parks and Rec, and that sort of became, and then the Apatow stuff, which is just improv. So this is like ahead of its time in some ways, because this really wasn't comedy yet. Like, this is even before Arrested Development. So it's like, it's a little bit unfair to this movie, but like, this style of comedy is so played out at this point that it was, it's
interesting.
That's all I have to kind of say against it.
Right. Because like, I assume this is improv or lightly improv.
You can definitely tell certain parts are improv.
Right. It's interesting because like, I've been watching a lot of Reno 911, which is very improv.
Yeah.
But you watch that even now, obviously, like, it's kind of It's Always Sunny situation where they're bad people, so they're saying bad things. They're racist, they're homophobic, they're, cops. And it doesn't like date it only because they're bad people. You know what I mean?
Right,
where
they
it's
are
like,
the butt of the joke there.
Yeah, and what strikes me about that versus Judd Apatow in both the humor and improv is like Apatow is so much more dated. One, because they're not the butt of the joke, and two, because
how I know you're gay is like brutal.
Yeah. And also because the improv itself doesn't feel as elegant. Like Reno 911,
it's not connected
and even
to the
this
scene.
stuff.
Like in Apatow, it's just like kind of trying to say the weirdest thing you can think of, and it's not really connected to the character or to what's going on.
It's a lot of people competing to say the same joke over and over again. Like, here's my version. Here's my joke. Where it's like,
comedians do this all the time.
Yes, but it doesn't like, like Christopher Guest improv and stuff like that, where it's like, it's not about necessarily being the funniest or telling. It's about like keeping the scene going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is more in that. I will say this movie didn't really have me for the first half and then kind of got me. Like, I warmed up to it later. I thought a lot of the humor was like, look at these guys. And I'm like,
Yep.
And yeah, the fucking production company name certainly turned me off of it.
That took me a second.
Yeah. Yeah. And then,
because that's not what they mean.
It's not what they mean,
at least
but it's
I
like,
don't think.
I don't think it's them using the production company name could be interpreted as a slur for trans people.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what they are probably talking about, it's busted.
It's cars.
They're probably talking about a busted transmission, because I have heard that phrase many, many times in reference to a transmission.
It's sort of like,
but yeah, that was like a board in the face. Like,
yeah,
whoa!
it was just like,
oh, okay. Yeah.
It's like Canadian Wayne's World with a taste of American movie, I'd say, and Clerks.
I've never seen American movie, but definitely Clerks. Especially, like, we were obsessed, indie comedies, like, around this time from, like, Gen X, were, like, obsessed with having a character die.
Yes. Well, because it's unexpected, or
I get it. It just, it's the first another. I guess it's maybe it's not this movie's fault. Like I'm having trouble placing, because obviously Clerks is 1994, but Kevin Smith did not go with that infamous ending where Dante is shot. So that's not even in the movie. So it's not like I can hold that against it. But
I think it's like a self-consciousness of like, this movie isn't about anything. And that was I had like the first 20 minutes was a lot of me going like, so what? Like, I hate to say this, but I kind of know these guys. Like, I've had people like these guys in my life.
I've lived like these guys. Not 100% like these guys, but.
And the first part is sort of like, the first 20 minutes is just like these two kind of dirt bags of no importance. And they have a friend who like used to hang out with them and then is going to hang out with them again, but doesn't. And his girlfriend.
Tron. I loved that guy.
Troy, who they called Tron.
They called Tron, and him explaining Tron. That was some of this stuff feels like straight up. It's so ahead of its time. Like Tron, Troy explaining why his nickname is Tron is like so What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh yeah,
Like,
100%.
Where he's like, it's Tron. It sounds a little more, what did he say, like imposing or intimidating?
Yeah, something like that.
It's like it's a name I came up with. Like talking
It's like
about
trying to explain something they came up with while blackout drunk, right? Where it's like there's no cleverness.
No.
Troy kind of sounds like Tron.
Right. And it's like Tron is a nickname that you'd give a drink. Like it's a very obvious nickname.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But it kind of starts as like kind of sad. Like these two guys, it's like the party's over, and they're trying to keep the party going.
They're burnouts who never, they're guys that are pushing 30 and they're still in high school, basically.
Yeah, and their friend is kind of moving on. And like it gave me that question I always have with mockumentaries, which is like, what if this been like this isn't interesting as a documentary, let alone a mockumentary, meaning that
it's a flimsy premise. That's that's another thing that I can sort of say against this film is it never really coalesces. It's like, why is this dude making this movie and then he dies making this movie?
Spoilers. Yeah.
And then
that, I laughed. That I thought was a very funny idea, which is in the third act, the director, who's getting like increasingly hostile towards them, and sort of says to them like, you don't even understand your own life, more or less, where he's like, why, like it just, he becomes more of a character. And then he does this really wussy dive where it's like, it's not even that far. It's like a 6-foot dive into this water that they like pressure him. And then he just instantly dies from it.
Yeah. Well, it was like everybody everybody jumps in. They like cannonball in or hop
right,
in.
he dives,
and as soon as he dives, I was like, don't fucking dive. It's one of those spots where it's like a small rock and like a shallow, cold pool where you can walk to the shore.
Yeah.
This guy, he had it coming, is what I'm saying.
Oh, for sure. And I did think there was an interesting thread with him that wasn't fully realized because, again, 20 minutes in, it was like, this has, and even later in, but it has the vibe of like a found footage film that never starts. You know what I mean? Where you're like, it's people hanging out. And like, you think about Clerks, right? And it's like, yeah, that's also people hanging out. But Clerks has like an overarching story, and it all depends on if you find it funny, right? Do you find these people funny? Do you want to hang out with them? And these guys
Clerks
aren't like witty. Yes,
it's a big thing.
These guys are like Jay and Silent Bob, and not like in Strikes Back, but like early Jay and Silent Bob, where it's like, there's a reason they weren't the main characters of Clerks, right? Like they're kind of, they're not, they're just kind of dudes that you sort of get right away. And the movie is very smart in the sense that it starts adding depth to them as the movie goes. Because the first offer 20 minutes in is, one of them has cancer. And he's like not really talking about it, and he doesn't really care. And that's when like the movie started getting more interesting, where it was like this burnout has testicular cancer, and his friend, you can tell, is almost like defensive about it, where he's like, I was gonna get him help, like, but he wasn't, like there's like a guilt there.
Yeah. And he sort of, you get it. Like he explains himself like, well, I didn't want to like pressure him. But I was going to take him eventually. You sort of get that. Where it's like, wow.
Yeah.
It's,
you get that he's unequipped for this, right? But he knew it mattered.
Yeah. And a disease like that, it can be very personal. I mean, it is very personal, as well as affecting your entire family and everybody around you.
Right.
So I don't know. I do sort of understand, what was his name? Terry? Yeah, Terry.
Yeah.
Terry and Dean, the Deaner.
Yeah.
I understand why like Terry was uncertain how to approach it. And also he's unfortunately stupid. So like both of these guys are just completely ill-equipped to handle this
it's an interesting
situation.
Because it's like,
well, they're being forced to grow up.
Yeah, they're facing reality, and they don't really talk about this stuff. Like, is the idea where
They
it's
never
like
talk
they're
about
kinda
anything real. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's like, what if two cartoon characters suddenly had to deal with testicular cancer? You know, it's that. What if Jay and Silent Bob? What if one of them got testicular cancer?
It's even the funny cancer, you know, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's got
Yeah.
ball cancer. Like, that's always the gag in these like edgy comedies.
Right. And then they have this idea of like, okay, one last weekend with my balls, which is a funny idea for a comedy for sure, as like he's been, you know, being told like you're going to have your testicle removed, and even then we're not sure. And so it starts getting very like these two people dealing with mortality basically. And then they start doing things like they interview Dean's mom and they show him playing like his first only acoustic song. That's like kind of a pretty song.
It's a good song. And it's like thoughtful and juxtaposed with her reading the lyrics of one of his like rock songs, which is just, it's a bog standard like Van Halen cock rock song. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like very much like cars and women,
Right.
you know?
And it's this really good idea. Like I did like the heart of this film, which is like two party guys and then like being faced with like a human moment and having to like, and the documentary kind of showing like they're more than just two guys who get drunk all the time. I mean, they're mostly that.
They're mostly
but
that.
Like they're capable of depth of dimensions beyond that.
Right. And nobody's life is worthless. Like the part that got me mostly on, like the rest of the way on board, because I was a little shaky with it too at first, because I was sort of like, okay, where's this going? And even the initial cancer reveal felt a little forced to me. It's like, oh, okay, you realize this, the premise is thin, is flimsy. Like, why on earth would they be following these guys? So then you throw us this curveball to suddenly make there be a reason to make this documentary.
Right.
But
I don't know why they did in the first place started making it, but like
yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Shit, I lost my train of thought.
You were talking about just the cancer and throwing like how that is definitely like see for me it was like relief.
Yeah, the thing that got me, that finally got me all the way on board is when the director Farrell goes and talks to his girlfriend Trixie and tells her that Dean has cancer, and she immediately goes over there. And it's this conflict. Obviously, Dean's upset because the director told her, and he was like, I was just trying to help. And then they're sort of filming him from far away as she's having a conversation with him and yelling at him about it. And at first she's like yelling at him for being dumb. And you think you know where it's going to go because you're like, oh, you have this little girl. You think you could just, that's a good idea for you to do this. And you think she's going to take it to like, who's going to provide for her? How, like, who's going to help me take care of her? Like, how am I supposed to do that? But what she says instead is, do you think you're worth nothing to her? Do you think you're worth nothing to me? And that's like where you think she's going to be like, how am I going to take care of this baby? How are you going to provide for this baby if you're dead? But instead she goes like, don't you think your life is worth something to us?
Right. And that's kind of the point. I'd say the overall point of the movie, which again, the main issue is I felt like there's too much hanging out. There's some really good sequences, like when he's screaming at God in the storm.
That was pretty good.
It was like, yeah.
That whiplashed back and forth between being really funny and kind of gut-wrenching.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's him, again, facing his mortality. And like at first it's like kind of abstract, but you can tell it's also kind of not. Like he talks about Merlin's life at one point, like he's a historical figure, which is really funny.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, but that was some of the stuff that I kind of rolled my eyes at a little bit, where it was like, okay, he's like cartoonishly stupid there.
Well, yeah,
but and you can tell the actor is going for. He's staying in character. He never it never goes full Apatow. Like it still feels connected to the scene and connected to the character, but you can tell he's reaching for funny things to say.
Yeah, it's tough because it's like, what if one of the Trailer Park Boys got cancer? It's sort of like these guys are so cartoonish that it's hard to navigate like a real situation through them. Again, I've met people like this, but they're not only like this, which I guess is the point.
I've had friendships like this where it's like you just do not talk about anything serious ever.
Yeah,
and when
exactly.
when you have to, it's really weird, and neither one of you really knows how to navigate it.
Right. I liked. They have an interesting part. And this is more depth. Where there's Dean and what's the other one? Terry. Where they're driving
Terry
to go
super
camping.
familiar. I didn't look anybody up though. I
think he's the one that's in Trailer Park Boys. I think they're both actors. Like they're not just like random dudes. This director found they went on to have careers.
Like Dean is almost an Adam Driver. Like he's an Adam Passenger.
Exactly. It's exactly that. Yeah, I mean, like the guy who played Dean is in I'm Not There. Remember that the fucking whatever his name is, Bob Dylan. I was gonna say Paul Dylan, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. So like that has actually impressed me knowing that they're just actors, because like it would have been so easy to just this be them. You know what I mean?
They are completely natural.
They are. They look like real dirtbags.
You would have no problem believing, like you said, like you mentioned Jay and Silent Bob. Jay is just Jay. Like that is just that guy. So
it's just some guy.
So I just assumed that was this situation.
Yeah. But so they're going camping, and it's like 3 days to the surgery. And this is when I think it also meanders, but they have the part where Dean is just farting up the car so much that Terry kicks him out. And it's like,
I don't know what you guys called it. We called it the pootie cup. You fart in your hand and throw it in somebody's face. It's potent, man. If you get the fart directly into your hand, right from the anus, and you throw it in somebody's face,
it's a heavy fart.
It's like, man, that uncut fart is lethal.
But it was a good scene where he kicks him out of the car, and you can tell he feels a little guilty because they're going on the camping trip that's it's Dean's life. It's like one last hurrah for Dean, and he kicked Dean out of the car because Dean was being an asshole. And so it's like, and so you think this will be conflict, and then they like pull up and they wait for him. They just find him bowling with some children, and he's just kind of rolled with it. Like you could tell he knew, like, I was being an asshole. I got kicked out of the car and had to walk. Like he's not really like, he doesn't seem angry about it.
No.
It's more of this.
Yeah, and we see Terry go through it because we're with Terry. And at first he's like, well, he was being a dick, we'll meet him in the town. And then he doesn't show up and he starts feeling bad. And he's like, well, what was I supposed to do? Turn back around? Like, what would that make me look like?
Yeah.
And then he's like, when they still can't find him, he's like, what I feel really bad about is we were going to go camping and now we can't go camp. So I think what's really important, it doesn't matter who did what wrong.
Yeah.
It's just, we got to meet back up and, go what we were going to do. We were going to go camping. And then he finally thinks to look for him at this bowling alley that they hang out at. And he sees him there and he's like, see, I told you he'd be there. And they do not mention it at all. So you can sort of tell that like Dean has gone through the same thing where they've both on their own agreed that we're not going to talk about what happened.
Right.
We understand we understand that we were both being dickheads.
Right. It's interesting because they're both kind of open books to other people, but not each other. Like it's sort of about, they have a specific boundary between their relationship where it's like, we go to each other to have fun, not to talk about things that matter. Like
they
that's
insulate each other from reality.
Yeah. Which is not a bad relationship to have necessarily, where it's like sometimes you have friendships that are like, we have specific things we do together. I remember those friendships where it's like, it's interesting because it's the realization that the longer you know someone, the less you can avoid that fact, where it's like eventually you share intimate moments or emotional moments in order to kind of grow, where it's like, I don't know, it's interesting because it's like them kind of finding those boundaries and dealing with mortality and kind of working that into their relationship ultimately, which is, I don't know. I had a friend group where one of the people in that friend group died. And it was like, we weren't like this. We weren't not talking about anything, but it's a surreal experience suddenly to like cry with people you've never cried with before. You know what I mean? To like, to be vulnerable in a way that's that just wasn't a thing within that friend group. Not to say that everybody was like trying to be a different way, just it never came up before, you know?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what this is. Like, it feels like it's like it never occurred to them.
No, they never had to confront those boundaries ever.
Yeah. And then they go to the woods, or should I say a ditch next to the road.
Yep.
It's so depressing.
Yeah, they just kind of turn right off the highway to camp.
Yeah. And they get woods drunk.
They burn a bunch of trash to cook their weenies.
Yeah.
It's like that's like gonna taste like aluminum and plastic.
Yeah. Delicious. But this is when the filmmaker gets involved, where like they're like, if you want, you know, you're like, they keep pressuring them. They're like, listen, if you want to make this, you got to party with us. You got to get drunk. And they keep kind of lording that over him a few times. And so he gets drunk with them. What's the filmmaker's name? Farrell. And you can kind of tell he's not a guy who hangs out with them.
No.
And he gets really like uncomfortable and even gets angry at them and becomes like a prick almost. Like this, and then he passes out in a ditch.
This part this was tough for me. Like it sort of feels like it comes out of nowhere, and it's weird to sort of make him into a character halfway through the film.
So I think there was two really good ideas, and they tried to do both. We've already talked about the first idea, right? Like these guys dealing with mortality. Mm-hmm. I actually think there's a really interesting idea here about the relationship between a documentary filmmaker and the subject. Because what they're revealing is that Farrell doesn't really like these guys. He's watching them like specimens.
Yes.
Like he's filming them. And I think that's an interesting thing to explore, right? Is like a documentary guy who's sort of like laughing at these guys. You should watch American Movie, because American Movie is a very fascinating idea, because it's a successful documentary about two very real filmmakers who are failing. And they're kind of the butt of the joke. But the movie isn't like, can you believe these assholes? It's kind of about like the passion behind filmmaking, and like that idea of like, it doesn't matter if you're good or not. Like it's about doing it, you know, like where you watch these guys and you kind of, at least I did, kind of admired them, where I'm like, well, they fucking made a movie. They made a movie.
It's like, it's not easy to make, even a piece of shit. It's not easy to make a movie.
And I always got the vibes from the filmmakers of that movie that they weren't like trying to point and laugh, but it was a very fine line. You know what I mean? And so I think there's a dynamic here where Farrell, you realize, is like, he's filming them like their wildlife. And then he's like resistant of being part of them, their life, because that's, you know, most people who make a documentary is like, I'm not the subject. Right. I don't want to be part of my doc. But you realize that it's like, he doesn't really like these guys. And it's like, he's not coming at this with like love in his heart, and he's filming them because he thought it would be like funny or grotesque. And then it gets flipped on him. Like he dies on camera. He has the most vulnerable moment in the documentary where he dies on camera, and then they cut to his mom at his memorial talking about Farrell's life the way Dean's mom was talking about him. And I thought that was an interesting idea, which is like this guy kind of who is exploiting these two other guys, suddenly the tables get turned on him, and it's suddenly like we're dealing with his mortality, the thing that never came up in his head, you know, like he never, this guy doing a documentary never thought, oh, I'm going to die making this. He thought maybe Dean might die, you know. So I thought there was a good dynamic there, right? Is like the separation, the emotional separation of the camera. It just didn't.
Yeah, I wish they would have explored that more. Like, I wish he would have been a firmer character earlier on.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was like a cool idea that felt like it was very briefly explored in the third act. Because then we go right back to Dean after that.
His mom also says something interesting. She says, well, Farrell, he always liked to get in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
He had to be the star of his own things, and that's very much not what he was doing. With Dean and Terry, he had to be goaded into being on screen with them. So that sort of backs up what you were saying about how he really doesn't like these guys.
Right. It's hard because I'm like, Farrell should kind of be the villain more, but I don't want that to be too pronounced because I thought it was very funny that this documentary guy, I think I have a soft spot for whenever the cameraman, like in Reno 911, it happens a lot when like the cameraman documentary person suddenly gets involved and they had no intention of getting involved and suddenly they're in peril.
Yeah.
So I thought it was very funny when the director that you're not thinking about just up and dies and suddenly the whole thing comes to a screeching halt to deal with his death.
In a very, very stupid way.
Right. And then it does speak to their characters because at the end they're at his grave drinking, something that Farrell would never want. But they're like, yeah, Farrell, buddy. Like they've accepted this guy, even though
he was one of them.
Never really liked them.
No, but he was one of them.
It's that where like everything rolls off of them. Like even when he like fights them in the morning, they wake him up with a beer and he's in a ditch and they're just like, yeah, welcome to rock bottom. Here we go. Like
they're also not that judgmental.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like that's another thing that reminded me of Beavis and Butthead to a degree, is that they're sort of always enjoying themselves, and not. Anyway, so like they're
no, they roll with it.
Yeah, it's just that's exactly it. They just I think that's all I was going to say. Well,
it's that if you're used to life being a struggle, living in poverty, or like, and sometimes some of this is obviously their own fault, waking up hungover every day. It's like you're thankful about the little things, there's that's the thing about. There's a positive dirtbag quality out there, which isn't to say that living in poverty makes you a dirtbag, but like I remember people like this where it's like you roll with it. Like when life is just giving you so many fucking lemons, it's just like, what else am I going to do?
What am I going to do? There's, I remember what I was going to bring up, like the scene where Tron is supposed to come party and he doesn't, and they get all mad at him, but they don't stay mad at him.
No, they move on.
Yeah, they move on immediately. He shows up again later. They're like, yeah, it's Tron.
Yeah, that paid off in a good way because I forgot about Tron.
Yeah.
I thought Tron was just like to show like kind of where they're at in life. And then when he's getting chemo at the end, Tron shows up with his head shaved and is the exact fucking party animal they were saying he was.
Yeah.
Like he's like, because they were pumping him up like when Tron gets here it's going to be so great, and then he doesn't show up. And then when he finally shows up, you actually get a feeling of like, oh, Tron completes this.
Yeah.
Like Tron completes this. He's a little more witty. He's a little more with it. He's like keeping the party going in interesting ways. And you're like, oh yeah, they were missing Tron.
Yeah,
this whole
Tron
time.
was kind of their leader.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like you that clicks into place, which was kind of cool. Fucking Tron is back. And then we get that intercut with the doctor saying like his chances are low.
Yeah. I did like the doctor.
Doctor.
There was like he was just like quietly very funny. Like I'm not sure how else to describe it, but like he's playing like racquetball and then talking about how like Dean's chances are like 40%, but it's not like he's wearing sunglasses and driving a Corvette or something, but there's just this there's just this slight aloofness to him that I found really funny. And I guess it comes out the most when he mentions that like, yeah, I don't have an explanation for why Dean's mustache hair didn't fall out.
That was amazing. It defies science.
Yeah,
like this.
perfect. Yeah, perfect joke.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, because they clearly don't have much of a budget where it's like,
No.
yeah, it's clear that they just shaved his head, stuck him in a wheelchair, and they're like, see, he's going through chemo. And it's like, yeah, I guess that's fine.
That's about all you can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the mustache is
And
a
then
good bit.
it culminates basically to like, and Dean the whole time he's just positive about it. He's like, I didn't give a shit earlier. Now I want to fight this. Like it's Dean kind of, his arc is giving a shit about.
Yeah, he has to mature a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Accepting this. And then, of course, he comes out of the doctor and tells his friend he's going to die just to get free lunch.
That was
as
pretty
a
great.
prank. Yeah. And the reveal is like the cancer didn't spread, but it's like one of those like, it's like you're good right now, but it might come up later.
It hasn't spread, but you have to continue with the treatment. There's still a possibility it could come back or it could continue to spread. Yeah, it's a whole ass thing.
Yeah. So I don't know. Ultimately, like, I didn't love this movie because it felt like the times it spent being like, oh, it'll be funny, they're just hanging out, didn't come off as that funny to me. And it was like they're fun, but it wasn't like laugh out loud. Like the parts where they're just getting drunk in the woods, I got bored. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, like a found footage film before the horror sets in, where you're just like, come on, like
let's get to it. Let's get to it. Yeah.
But I do think the two ideas are really interesting.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm sort of holding things against this movie that are not really its fault. Like it was legitimately ahead of its time in a lot of these ways.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it's dated as well. I don't know. Because the doctor kind of also reflects the filmmaker, where it's like these two lives, right? Like a very unserious person having to deal with very serious people who, like, I don't know. I think that's an interesting dynamic. I think, like, I almost want a not documentary about it, but it's actual film about a filmmaker having to, like, just follow around these unserious people and feeling, like, obligated to, right? Where it's like he's tied to these people is an interesting idea. And then that, like, dynamic of, like, he's exploiting them and he doesn't really feel like he's worthy of them in a weird way. Like, I think that's a cool dynamic that they could have explored more. But I think maybe in a different movie, like in the sequel.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of feels like that wasn't really ever on the radar. That
was more interesting to me too. That's the thing. But yet it wasn't. You're right.
But yeah, I agree that would have made a more interesting movie. A more interesting conflict, at least, because this is just very meandering.
This feels like, again, Judd Apatow. I don't know. We've had versions of this. Like, what if a stoner character reality hit them? What if Seth Rogen got someone pregnant?
Yeah,
and then they have to grow up.
Adam Sandler got cancer.
Oh yeah. Which again, this is before those, so it is, to their credit, before that time. It is adding a new depth to, like, the stoner hangout comedies for sure that hadn't been there before. So there is definitely value in that. But it does feel like it's two really good ideas mushed together, and neither of them. I don't know. I guess the cancer stuff does have enough time within it, but I feel like there was more to do with it. Like I like the idea of we only have 3 more days till you get your ball removed. Could be a really fun stoner comedy that goes really out of hand, like a Harold and Kumar. Yeah. Like the kind where you end up in jail or you meet aliens or like
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like that's a very fun offer.
At the North Pole.
There's a lot of really fun premises within this, and it never really spends time with each one, I thought. And it didn't quite have the budget to. Like, you can see why this guy made Goon. You can see where the talent is.
Yeah, for sure. This is an impressive first feature, especially for what it is and the budget that it has.
Yeah, and it's a bunch of talented people making something. And you can kind of tell, like, yeah, they had to make a documentary. Why? Because they can't afford good cameras.
Yeah.
So obviously it went in the right like obviously this led to a career, so it was the right idea.
Yeah. We got, what was it, 8-Bit Christmas?
Yeah. I've never seen that.
Neither have I. But,
I haven't seen...
Yeah.
I didn't see Stuber.
Stuber did not get great reviews. I have not seen it.
I didn't see Coffee and Cream.
Neither did I. That was another one that got put straight to Netflix, I believe. That's the Ed Helms one, right?
That's the Ed Helms. Stuber is Batista, right?
Batista and
Camille. Yeah. Which sounds like a banger. Like that's a great combination.
It came out, I think, like right before the pandemic. Is that right? The lockdown? Rather?
2019.
Oh, okay. So never mind.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of My Spy.
Have you remembered What If yet? Because we did watch What If, also called The F Word, with Daniel Radcliffe.
Nope.
And Adam Driver.
Nope.
So they upgraded their driver in this from passenger to driver.
Yeah, he's in the front seat now.
Yeah. I liked Goon. I liked
I did
What
like
If.
Goon.
Yeah, so like I'd say this filmmaker, and again, I liked this, but it has a few things going against it. It has budget and it has when it came out, which can't be helped. It's sort of like two things where it's like, yeah, you're making a mockumentary in 2002 as your first film. You're using what you got, and it's like, so it's good for what it is, but it's not like a Clerks, right? Where you're like, oh, or like a Reservoir Dogs or whatever, where it's like this fully realized filmmaker.
Yeah, that's true. But there are some really funny lines in this movie.
Oh yeah, there are. Yeah, you can tell there's a lot of talent.
Mm-hmm. Like it is overall, it's a funny movie.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's pretty funny. I don't think I have anything else to say about this movie.
Are you going to watch FUBAR 2, Dave?
Not anytime soon, because just in case someone makes us watch it. I'm not against watching FUBAR 2.
I'm not in a hurry. I probably won't unless somebody asks us to.
Yeah, I don't know. These characters, again, these characters felt like kind of a little real in a way that's like I remember when I watched Napoleon Dynamite, and my parents loved it and they thought it was so funny, and they're like, these people are outrageous, and I'm like, I kind of know some of these people.
Yeah.
And then I remember when I watched A Mighty Wind, and my parents were like, I kind of know some of these people. Where it's like sometimes when the comedy is sort of mocking the group you're in, you're like, I don't see what's so funny about these guys. They're just having a nice Saturday, getting drunk on the stairs.
Yeah,
like I had so many of those. Yeah.
They're just burning lawn chairs by the side of the interstate.
Right. There's this like inherent where it's like, can you believe these guys? And I'm like, yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Just their mere, like, this is a little bit on like their mere existence is funny, and like that sometimes works, but then it gets old. It's like a Borat, or Borat is like, look at how funny he is, and then after that wears off, you're like, okay, but then what? You know?
Yeah, I think what's funny about Borat is pushing the envelope with what other people will tolerate.
For sure.
But
Borat has other stuff. It's just Napoleon Dynamite is the same, where it's like, that's not a not funny movie, but then it gets distilled down to just an impression, you know?
That's true.
And so it's almost like it's funny how that works with movies like that, where like I didn't see Borat for the longest time, and then when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is funny, because nothing in what people were saying about it gave me the impression it was funny, right?
Oh.
Because it's all distilled down to a series of quotes out of context, where it seems like the only thing that's funny is that he has an accent, you know, where you're like, okay, like, I don't know. We do that with comedy a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think that's why a lot of comedies they go stale, because when they're successful,
thing that ages the
we
quickest.
kill them. Yeah. Like we murder them.
Yeah.
We murder every comedy.
So that's why they made 3 Hangovers.
Oh my God. Yeah. Exactly the same movie every time. I don't think I saw the third one, actually.
I didn't.
I saw the second one.
So
and
did
that's
I.
when I was like, yeah, it was like, oh, okay, we're done here.
Yeah. Ends with Mike Tyson singing One Night in Bangkok.
I don't even remember that.
Yep. Happens.
Anyway, Steven, thank you so much. This is a movie I would have never seen if it weren't for you.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you.
Yeah, I love
And you're-
getting to see more and more Canadian scumbags.
Me too. God, they're right up there too. They're just up
They're
there.
just there. Yeah, this whole time they've been there, and I had no idea.
Yeah. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's like a folklore.
Yeah.
It's like the girl gets the guy licks her hand under the bed. You know?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh God, they were there the whole time.
Yeah, someone living in the attic the whole time.
Yeah. So this was through our Patreon, patreon.com/gamefully unemployed. For $5 a month, we have a bunch of exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama, Spiel Boys, Himboos, our Supernatural podcast, all of those. So like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, maybe, I don't know, like 600, 700 podcasts.
Sure.
For $5 a month. And they keep coming. They just keep coming. They won't stop until we're all dead. We
We've
watch
tried.
movies.
We can't do anything.
We can't. We watch movies every Friday night as well on our Discord. That's for a little bit more. You can join us. It's very fun. Very fun indeed. Check it out.
Tis. We also have a
Tis.
store. Head over to GameFullyUnemployed.com. You can find a link to our Teespring store. We have all kinds of cool original artwork by cool original artists like Michael Vincent Bramley, Starlene Hodge, Justin Brown, and others. So check that out. Please rate and review our podcast wherever you're listening to this. And check out our new show, Badical, BADICAL, wherever you're listening. And,
Football, ugly butt, automated regalia.
Yeah.
Why is it called that? Why is it called this?
I'm not sure. I mean, the phrase, we know what the phrase means.
Yeah, I just said it.
Yeah. Feral, underwater, hold on, bonks,
Ass.
and ruined. Feral,
right.
underwater, bonked, and ruined. There it is.
There it is. Got to the bottom of that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can find him on twitter.com as the Corlew or go to shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our channel artwork is produced by Michael Vincent Bramley. For more of his work, go to mvbramley.art. Our episode artwork is by Justin Brown, available on Twitter as Justin T. Brown or at artnessbyjustinbrown.com. And finally, additional artwork is by Starlene Hodge. You can find her work at starlenearts.com or on Twitter as StarleneX. Cool. Goodbye.